More. Randy Peterson, Des Moines Register, joins us on 365 Sports, and we will get into basketball because Iowa State's got one hell of a team. Randy, thank you. How much was the loss of Schillhouse to Iowa State? I know they made Mauser. He's now the offensive coordinator, but how much of that was kind of at least a little bit of a gut check?
I don't know about a gut check, but it was maybe a little bit. But it's the fact that Schillhouse will be back in college football at some point, being a head coach someplace. He's been at Iowa State. He was an offensive coordinator. He turned a horrible offense. You and I could play better offense than what Iowa State did at sometimes this year. He turned a horrible offense into a decent offense, a pretty good offense actually. Freshman All-American quarterback, an outstanding running back. Now he's going to the NFL, and I guarantee you he'll be back in college ball sometime as a head coach. He's just, what's the word, apprentice or something? I don't know what that word is. But yeah, it's good. But as far as hiring Mauser, wow, that one kind of surprised me because it's not a traditional path for a tight end coach to go to offensive coordinator. But nonetheless, Mouse, we call him Mouse. Mouse has been around Matt Campbell throughout his coaching career. So if anybody knows Matt Campbell's offense, it's Mauser, and Mauser knows the players obviously because he coaches on that side of the ball. And realistically, his primary job this year is just not to screw it up because it's going to be a good offense again. Just don't mess it up. And I don't think he will. I don't think he'll try to overthink things and reinvent the wheel or whatever. But what it showed to me was that number one is Matt Campbell's given every opportunity, Matt Campbell's going to lean on being loyal to his people, which this was a case of that. And number two, Matt Campbell's still got his fingers on the offense, and he always, we'd always suspected that that he did, and all the play calling goes through him, and it's probably going to keep up like that for a while, I would think. So, all in all, it's a good move for Mauser, or it's a good move for Schillhouse, good move for Mauser, and like I said, if he doesn't just screw it up, but I say that half-heartedly. I mean, Mauser knows what I not think. If he just stays out of the win, let them play offense. Iowa State could be pretty good offense again.
Well, how much of this is for continuity because they do have so many guys, especially on that side of the ball back?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a lot of it's got to be for continuity. Now we haven't talked to Campbell. I texted him a couple of times, and I've not talked to Mauser. But yeah, I mean, getting somebody in there that knows the offense, knows the players. Number one, yeah, that's good. Mauser, he coaches tight ends, and Iowa State has had good tight ends: Chase Allen, Charlie Kolar, and right now they've got an All-American to be in Ben Bramer. He was a true freshman last year, and he was darn good. I mean, he'll be playing in the NFL at some point. So, yeah, he knows what's going on with those guys. He knows the players, not just at the tight ends, but he knows all the positions, all the players on the offense, and they know him. So the learning curve is not going to be as steep as what it could be if you bring somebody in from the outside. So he'll hit the ground running, or I'm sure he has been hitting the ground running. They start spring ball in a couple weeks, and their spring game, use that word loosely. Their final spring practice in the stadium will be April 20th. So Mauser's got all summer to work with the guys also. So but continuity, I'm sure, played a huge part in it as well.
Randy, what's sort of the discourse? We haven't checked in on Iowa State a little while, but what's the talk about Rocco Becht after what he showed last season?
It's off the charts wonderful. I mean, Iowa State fans are Iowa State fans. They get excited about things like this, and they're excited about Rocco. They're excited about the receivers. All the receivers are back essentially. All the primary players are back on offense. I mean, that includes most of the offensive linemen have started. So, but yeah, there's buzz around Rocco, and he's been very active in the community. This off season, I've seen him around at various functions. So, yeah, he's a good guy. He keeps his nose clean, and that's what Iowa State people. That's what Iowa State fans like. They appreciate that, and the fact that he's had a wonderful freshman season. Oh, by the way, that's just adds to it. So yeah, Iowa State fans are pumped up about football, more so this spring than I've seen in the past. But now they're equally or pumped up even more right now for basketball also. So I mean, it's if you're an Iowa State fan, you're enjoying this spring. Or this spring, it's 80 degrees today. You're enjoying whatever this is, fall, winter, spring. I don't know what it is. You're enjoying this time of year.
It's winter time, but it's the spring semester. I've always kind of wondered about that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's 80 degrees here in Des Moines today. In Des Moines. So
well, speaking of hot,
it's probably 100 down there, but yeah.
The Cyclones are red hot, ranked in the top, number 8, and then obviously right behind Houston, who had the dramatic win in Waco on Saturday, and they're just so explosive, but they're better than that, aren't they, Randy? They're not just a team that can score. They're really, really a solid team from pretty much every part of the game.
Dude, I've been covering Iowa State for a long time, as you know. And I remember back in the days when, God love him, Johnny Orr was coaching. I mean, God love Johnny. His teams would score 95 to 100 points. And if they got beat, he'd say, "Woo-wee, we put up a lot of points today, didn't we?" They'd get beat, but fans wanted to see points back then. And so that's kind of the way I was brought up covering Iowa State. And it continued that way with for a while. And then with Eustacia coming in and Tim Floyd, they started putting some emphasis on defense. And then Hoiberg didn't know a zone from a man-to-man. I mean, I say that affectionately, but I mean, they went back to playing offense. But TJ right now, they're playing, their defense is off the charts. I mean, it is absolutely off the charts. Here's an example. I just looked this up. In the last 16 games, 16 home games. In the last 16 home games, they're 16-0 this year at home. In every home game, the opposition, sure, there were 9 patsies to start the season. Everybody plays those, but in 16 games, Iowa State opponents have either turned the ball over or missed a shot or had a block shot on their first possession. That's Iowa State is just in your face defense from the tip, and they play it towards the end. Now, maybe sometimes they'll have a clunker, like I think Saturday was against West Virginia. That was kind of a wake up call to Iowa State, but they didn't play well. They won, but nonetheless, it was closer than what a lot of people would think. But this defense is just, I mean, they're trapping all over the floor. I mean, they're forcing turnovers. So it's more of an all around team than I've seen in a long time, even more so than the Sweet 16 team in TJ's first year after inheriting that 2-22 debacle. It's more of a versatile team, and they've got 6 different guys that have led the team in scoring this year. So it's an all around team. So I think they're pretty good.
Down the stretch is Oklahoma, who's been a little up and down in the last couple of weeks. BYU is coming off, a pretty good week. UCF and Kansas State are both kind of, trying to figure out who they are at the end of the season. But they, as far as schedule goes, now look, no night is easy in the Big 12. But do you think they kind of lucked out for the last 4 as they head into the Big 12 tournament relatively?
Oh, without question, Iowa State's among the 5 contenders. Iowa State's got the best path to finish out. I'm not certain Houston's going to get beat, but Iowa State's got the best path throughout. Just like you said, Iowa State, the 2 home games that Iowa State has, Oklahoma on Wednesday and BYU a week from Wednesday. Iowa State lost those games on the road, so there's a momentum factor there, and Iowa State did not play particularly well in either one of them, especially the OU game. So Yeah, I think Iowa State got a good closing schedule. I mean, in years past, Iowa State has kind of melted down the last 6 or 7 games. I certainly that's not going to happen this year. I'd be shocked if that happened this year. And you know, Iowa State almost won it at Baylor whenever that game was a while back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's this team's been is very resilient in everything it does, and I could certainly see them being a 1 or a 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament, and a 2 seed, a 3 seed if the wheels don't fall off in the NCAA tournament. Now I don't know about fans down there, but fans up here are just now are starting to get in tune to the fact that, oh my gosh, there's an NCAA regional in Omaha, which is 2.5 hours from campus. Oh my gosh, there's a campus and there's a regional in Omaha. Let's see now. What's Iowa State need to do to get there? They've got a good shot because of the priority seating. Now, I've seen, it's complicated. You know, the whole seating process is complicated, but Iowa State fans are kind of looking forward to playing in Omaha, which is such an easy drive over there. But I guess we'll have to wait and see that one.
Randy, one more question from Cornelio in the chat about J.J. Cole, former Elite 11 quarterback, and he's sitting behind Beck. But what kind of player he could be? Obviously, it's Beck's job, but what they expect from Cole?
It's a great question. We talked about that. Travis Hines, who also covers Iowa State, we talked about that on a podcast today. J.J. Cole came to Iowa State as a 4-star. He was a true freshman last year. 6'7", 220, 25, whatever, quarterback. I don't know how much he can play. Unless something happens to Rocco, he's talented. He's very talented. I saw him play multiple times in high school. He got in a few times, very few times last season. He did what true freshmen do. You don't play very much, or you make mistakes and you look a little raw out there. But this is a very important spring ball for him. Extremely important. Rocco Becht made huge improvements over his true freshman year to what would this have been this year? His redshirt freshman year, and he had to because of everything going on off the field, and he had to. Now, if J.J. Cole could make that same progression between what would be his true freshman year and redshirt freshman year, there could be a nice battle on a quarterback competition on Iowa State's hands. So it'd be interesting to see. I think that's one of the major storylines as far as Iowa State spring football is concerned is the backup quarterback situation, and where does JJ fit? And in this day of free agency, what does that mean? Who knows?
Randy, good stuff, man. Glad we got you on. Randy Peterson, Des Moines Register on Iowa State football. Also the new offensive coordinator, Mauser being promoted, Shieldhouse leaving, and then also the men's basketball team. And then the question, thanks